Afternoon. I would like to call this meeting of the House Finance Committee to order. We have one item on the agenda, but first I'd like Lori Smith, our Senior Committee Legislative Assistant, to call the roll.
Good morning. Thank you. Representative Samuelson.
Here.
Sorry, Chairman Samuelson. Lapita Freites.
Vote by designation.
Dave Deloso.
Vote by designation.
Fiedler.
Vote by designation.
Frail.
Vote by designation.
Gallagher. Kenyatta. McNeil. Mirsky. Rabb. Scott.
Vote by designation.
Waddell.
Vote by designation.
Waxman. Webster. Chairman Griner.
Here.
Bernstein.
Here by designation.
Brown.
Here.
Fritz. Jones.
Here by designation.
Kephart. Kutz.
Here.
Mako. McCreary.
Here by designation.
Rader. And Leslie. We have enough for a quorum.
Thank you. We have one item on the agenda, House Bill 2358, regarding historic preservation tax credits. We also are joined by Representative Prokopiak, the prime sponsor of this bill, who's with us today. Do I have a motion to bring the bill forward? Representative Rabb makes the motion. Representative Gallagher seconds. I'd like to call on Shannon Snell, our research analyst, for an explanation of House Bill 2358.
House Bill 2358 increases the annual cap for the Historic Preservation Tax Credit from $5 million to $20 million.
Thank you. We had a public hearing on this legislation last week, and we heard testimony. I'd like to give an opportunity for anyone on the committee to make comments on House Bill 2358. Representative Griner?
Just one quick
Chair Griner?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one quick question, because I know I had an event last week and got here a little bit late. How does the credit get allocated amongst? How do you decide where it gets allocated statewide, or is it so much for? You know, that probably would have been discussed. It's like who decides? Is there a grading system?
Yes, so this is a DCED in collaboration with the Pennsylvania Historic and Museum Society that administer this program. And there is a requirement to distribute recipients of this tax credit through different regions in the state so that every region will get something. And beyond that, as long as the applicant meets all the requirements, then if there's excess, it's decided on a first come, first served basis after that point.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we did hear the testimony last week that there were more applicants than available funding last year. I think they said there were $12.7 million worth of applicants. Many projects, we're told, do not apply because the state tax credit currently is low and lower than some neighboring states. I also believe they said under current practice, they sometimes figure out who's eligible based on if you qualify for the National Register of Historic Places. I thought we also heard testimony that there are suggestions that we try to improve the process of how the final tax credits are awarded. But the issue before us today is the current available amount of tax credits, $5 million, has been at that level since 2019 and is lower than neighboring states like Maryland at $20 million, New Jersey at $50 million. I know there's a Senate version of this bill that's being proposed by Representative Saval, Representative Ferry, and I believe they're going to be asking for $50 million, but this bill before us today is $20 million.
Yeah, just that's interesting that they want to do 50. So I just following up on your comment, though, you said that last year there were only about 13, people only applied for about 13 million. So why would we be going to 20 million? And the Senate's going to 50 million.
Well, the testimony we heard was that there's a lot of projects that don't even apply. We have an existing federal tax credit for historic preservation. If you qualify for the federal tax credit, you get it, and that's 20% of the investment you make in historical preservation. Some projects with a limited available amount of Pennsylvania tax credits, some projects that get the federal tax credit don't even apply. Last year's number was 12.7 million, but the testimony we heard were there's plenty of projects all over the state that we'd easily have a demand of at least 20 million. We selected 20 million. I know the Senate is seeking 50, and some of the historic preservation groups have said they would prefer 50, but I believe we should move forward and offer 20 million and be able to fund more historic preservation projects. I had a conversation with Representative Frank Ferry yesterday, and he mentioned that this is very appropriate that we move forward on this kind of legislation now because we're just 2 years away from America's 250th anniversary, and we have a committee set up to have projects all over the state. He said he thought there could be a linkage between funding historic preservation projects and the fact that we have an upcoming anniversary for the United States.
No, I appreciate that. And Senator Ferry now. Senator it is.
Senator Ferry.
But anyway, thank you. No, I appreciate the explanation.
Any other comments on House Bill 2358? Are there any negative votes on Okay. We'd like to have a roll call on House Bill 2358. And for the record, Representative Deloso is present. I've asked our legislative assistant, Lori Smith, to call the roll.
Chairman Samuelson,
Yes.
Sapita Freites,
Yes by designation.
Deloso, Feeler,
Yes by designation.
Frail,
Yes by designation.
Gallagher, Kenyatta,
Yes.
McNeil, Mursky, Rabb, Scott,
Yes by designation.
Waddell,
Yes by designation.
Waxman,
Yes.
Webster,
Yes.
Chairman Griner,
Yes.
Bernstein,
Yes by designation.
Brown,
Yes.
Fritz, Jones,
Yes by designation.
Kephart, Kutz, Mako, McCreary,
Yes by designation.
Rader, Leslie. That's 2 noes and all the rest yeas.
23 votes in favor, 2 votes opposed. House Bill 2358 is reported from the Finance Committee. With no other business before us today, this meeting is adjourned. We will have a meeting tomorrow at the first break. Also, about 12 noon tomorrow, I'll announce it from the floor.
One quick clarification. It's Representative Rossi at the last, I know you said Leslie. That was her first name. I just want to make sure.
Representative Leslie Rossi.
Rossi, right? Rossi. Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. This meeting is adjourned.